All right, welcome to Podcast Idea episode 12. Today I'm joined by Elias,
That's me.
and we're just going to be talking about him mostly and some other things to do with business, work, and a special news topic that I got for us later on. All right, let's start. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Elias?
Well, my name is Elias. I'm 19 years old. I recently graduated high school, and right now I'm working at like what are they called in English even?
Warehouse?
Great start. Yeah, warehouse.
Warehouse.
Yeah,
Okay.
great start.
Yeah, great. Perfect. All right, so what do you do in the warehouse?
We unpack things. We like scan them into a system, and we pack them down, and we ship them away. So
So, what types of products?
I mean, laptops, basically anything that a school would use.
Mhm.
Maybe some speakers, but mostly laptops, screens, and yeah, nothing exciting really.
Nothing exciting. All right, great. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you want to do, goals in general?
Yeah, so
Because you're not studying right now,
yeah,
right? Do you plan to study?
yeah.
What?
Why?
What?
Yeah, actually, yeah, entrepreneurship.
Uh-huh.
Like the only course I think, or like degree or something, in Sweden, I believe. And I'm doing that basically because of UF.
Okay,
Have you heard of
that's young and entrepreneurship,
Yeah,
pretty much,
exactly.
right?
Because I was like really confused what I was gonna do in my life, and I was like thinking into maybe some sort of arts thing, not like painting, more like graphical design.
All right.
Which I do like, but I don't see myself working with that for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got this course in high school, and I've like found like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. So
Uh-huh.
then I found the degree in Stockholm, and I'm moving next summer, or this summer rather.
All right. So 2020,
Yeah.
right? Nice. We actually discuss a little bit, usually here, about entrepreneurship and business, the differences. And I actually talked about how I think I'm into entrepreneurship
Yeah.
and reasons why I could not be as well, right? With all my colleagues here that we discuss it a little bit. And it's interesting because I don't know if you can recall anything in your past that would point you in that way. Just as a detour before you answer, I also heard that like maybe some skills instead of just going straight to business or entrepreneurship to study in school, maybe it's even better to go for something like graphic design, like you're doing, and open a company and use that skill in the company.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's what you're doing in school, pretty much. You're learning skills.
Yeah.
So some people are against teaching entrepreneurship because it's something that maybe you learn more from experience. What's your take on that? You think
Yeah.
that's true?
I agree with them. I think
Yeah?
just going getting a like 3 or 5 year degree just focused on entrepreneurship is it's not going to turn out well. Since at that point you could probably I haven't done the course yet, but
No, of course
I'm
not.
just guessing that you could have done like a business major instead, or learning how
Uh-huh.
to open up a company and like running the things. And that's why like there's majors and stuff, of course. So I'm probably gonna major in maybe some sort of graphical design thing, or just something that can spawn ideas.
Sure.
Because Steve Jobs sometimes said, I think he said this.
Uh-huh.
Don't quote me on
Yeah,
this.
yeah, no.
But to run a great company, you need two people.
Okay.
One person like Steve, who's great, like good enough with people, as Steve was,
Sure.
that can handle the business stuff. And most like the person has to be a visionary.
Mm-hmm.
The ideas have to come from them, and kind of the goal has to be set up by them. And then another person that just drives, Steve Wozniak, the genius behind it all, that actually does the things that the visionary wants. And since I'd say my best skill is people, I will hopefully like find some. I already have met some extremely intelligent people. But
Yeah.
I feel like there's no way in my life that I could get as smart or as good at math or physics or whatever, or programming than that they
Sure.
are. So hopefully I'll maybe contact them when I'm
Uh-huh.
done and offer them a business proposal.
Yeah.
So that's my plan pretty much.
Okay. And tell me, why don't you start now? Well, what's keeping you from starting? Just as a general question.
Do you mean starting my degree or starting
Business.
like a company?
Yeah.
Um,
Your ideas in general. Let's say that.
yeah. Because I think there's a lot of things that I can learn without risk with this degree. Because while you could learn from just failing over and over, which is like realistically most likely what I'll do.
Sure.
Like I might strike gold, but it's pretty improbable.
Well, if you keep trying,
yeah,
even
for
if you're
sure.
failing, then you will.
Yeah.
Some point.
So I think there's a lot of steps that could be skipped with this degree. But that's like a really minor part because I can like so far live at home. I'm not gonna be kicked out in any reasonable amount of time. So it's mostly just for networking and for the experience. Since it's free and I'm working now, saving up so I can live and maybe not eat ramen every day. So it's a lot of networking because you'll meet a lot of people that probably will be your friends for life.
Yeah, but so you mean this instead of like starting a company alone,
Yeah.
or okay? But just as a hypothetical here, wouldn't you, since you have the advantage that you're still at home,
Yeah.
and you don't have to pay for rent, you don't have to eat ramen, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you start something, like something small?
Yeah, that's true. Um,
Do you think what's keeping you is time or will?
I don't think
I
it's.
don't know.
It's not will, definitely not.
Okay.
Time, like since I'm already set on this course, it's kind of hard to change now. Like I've had ideas for mostly like products that I think that I really want this, but then and then I think so maybe I'll just create it, and then a quick Google search later, there's 200 different super
Yeah.
large scale productions already, so I kind of have to give up at that point.
Mm.
So basically, just now I'm just saving like all of my money, not only for like special ramen instead of the cheap stuff, but also to have some sort of capital to start something eventually.
Okay, so to start something bigger,
Yeah.
you think. So just as a comment for you, just when you told me about your ideas that you've had and you saw so many other ideas the same as yours, why instead you don't start from the other side? You find an idea you like,
Yeah.
and then you improve it. Does that sound appealing, or does that sound unoriginal?
That's one of the things my teacher actually told me.
Okay.
When I told these things to him. But then when I explain these ideas, they're like hard to improve on, since like one of the things was I don't know, they're really common in laptops where you can just cover the camera.
Yeah, like
The
a
little
clip for the
switch thing,
yeah.
And that's really cheap to manufacture, and we have a 3D printer. So
Uh-huh.
what I thought was that I can just make them at home and probably sell them, probably in town and not distribute them. Just get like a test of how well they would sell. The problem with that is that like 3D printing it's cheap, but it's not that cheap. It's not like injection molding, which is just insanely cheap, especially in China.
Okay, tell me what is injection molding. Just one thing, Elias. Be careful with the microphone to keep it close.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Tell me.
It's when you have like, say, a metal mold of a
Okay.
I don't know, a chair,
Uh-huh.
and you have a sort of a syringe.
Cameraman with the timer.
And the syringe will inject plastic into this mold, and then you just separate the two molds, and you'll have a chair. And like upstart cost of that is pretty expensive since you need some huge metal molds.
Okay.
But plastic is super cheap, and you can crank these out all the time. Actually, there's a pretty fun way to see if something you own has been made this way.
Okay.
There's a really common plastic chair. I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, you'll know it when you see it.
What you mean, like those regular ones that are white and
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Chair,
yeah, the plastic chair. Yeah.
If you look on like right under it, there's gonna be like a little, I don't know, a snippet,
line?
Pin. Yeah, a line.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's like where they pour the actual plastic.
Yeah.
Right. I know what you mean because a lot of things have that. Right.
It's super common, and you can make like Lego. And just
bottles of water bottles have that, right, at the very bottom. Yeah.
I mean, they should be like reasonably.
I think those they inflate it with air and then they go on the mode. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Possible. I don't know either.
Maybe someone can correct me.
Yeah. So 3D printing, while it's cheap, it's really slow, and it's compared to injection molding, it's super expensive. So, and also there's going to be a lot more of a markup for it to be worth my time. And the design is so simple, right? Like you switch, you just flip it forward and backward, and that's it. So while I thought like maybe like there's probably might be some way to improve on it, but I don't know if you can come up with anything right now. But it's like it's so simple.
The only thing I could actually come up with, like from all of this talk, it's more of a question for you as well.
Yeah.
Is there what is the main cost or the main thing that makes the filament for the 3D printer expensive? Do you know that? Because I don't.
I don't know. I say that, but I would guess that it's I don't know, like for it not to be grainy or have texture.
Okay.
It needs to be smooth, I guess.
So it's not a patent. Like,
no.
It's not patented. All right. No, because maybe another business idea, maybe thinking of the big picture, would be
to make filament.
Yeah, no, instead of selling that, go to the source and find a way to make the filament cheaper.
Yeah.
Or if it was or maybe you find a way to make a new 3D printer that needs or that uses filament that's made from other plastic that you can reuse. Then you already...
I mean, you could put some kind of environmental spin on it that probably the plastic isn't like made from renewable sources, because there's really no renewable sources for plastic, but maybe not used from the like ocean trash or whatever.
But like recycled.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So maybe you can only use like water bottles.
Yeah.
But instead of putting it for punt, you only put it there.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. It's an idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how feasible that is. Maybe in the near future we can find something else, but that could be a startup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, you mentioned that you actually had some other ideas along the way, right?
Yeah.
And that you actually told your teachers and stuff. The thing for the camera you thought about. What else did you think about?
For my bathroom, when I take a shower, I can see myself in the mirror. And before I cut my hair, I used to have like hair to my shoulders or something. And a fun thing I realized was that you can make a unicorn, like horn, with shampoo.
Sure.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed. The problem, as you all know, when you have hot water, is that it makes condensation. So I can't see my beautiful horn. So that's when I started experimenting with like how to remove this condensation. And you know, water isn't gonna help. So I poured some shampoo from my hair onto it, and then with some like light water spray, it would stay just dry, or it wouldn't be filled with the condensation for like 10-15 minutes. So I thought, well, where like people are probably not going to buy this from for their shower, because maybe not everyone has long hair, or rather makes a unicorn
Oh
and a
my
horn.
god.
But I mean,
Or just buy a mirror.
yeah,
Yeah, but still
and you could,
conversation, right? Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, like a car, the backwards facing mirrors.
Uh-huh.
I guess there could be some sort of condensation, or rather, it would be good if they were water repellent, right?
Yeah, because like the water is a thing.
Yeah,
Because like sometimes you have to put your arm
Yeah.
there and take it away. That could be
and
a
you
thing.
can avoid like scraping, because if there's no water, there's not going to be any ice.
Yeah.
So save like 10 minutes every day.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of forgot about the idea, and it came back like, I don't know, once a month.
Okay.
Until I actually saw a post on Reddit
Uh-huh.
of this exact product that used like some hydrophobic, I don't know, something, where you just apply a large or small like piece of tape
Uh-huh.
and then pull it away, and then it's going to be water repellent. So
All right.
I mean, maybe if I would have pursued it, it would have been hard since I still was in high school.
Yeah.
But I mean,
No,
the
but
idea was there.
yeah.
It was just hard to execute. But that's like the other like main thing that I thought that would actually be able to turn into something. Probably not using shampoo for the water repellent properties.
Yeah,
But something like
but I get the
hydrophobic.
idea. It
Yeah.
comes from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but that could have been great. And it could still be great, right? Because
Yeah,
think about it, we don't see it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Not everyone uses it. So you can get an idea that you thought of in the beginning, get other ideas people thought of and did it,
Yeah.
repurpose it, and make it even better. And market it better
Hmm.
as well, so people use it, right? So, well, that's maybe one thing. One other thing that I wanted to touch on here. I heard you were in telemarketing before.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that, your experiences and stuff. Because here before the show, we were talking about being sociable here in Sweden and like interactions and stuff. So fill me in. How was that experience, and did you like it? Would you get back
Yeah,
to it?
I did.
You did. Okay.
I loved it. I mean, it was horrible. I'm not gonna lie. It's
Okay.
awful, but it's like an abusive relationship, honestly. Because like when I was there, I most of the time hated it.
Okay.
Because like when you don't sell anything, it's the worst job in the world.
Mm.
And when you're on a streak, it's
the best thing.
probably better than heroin. Like honestly, it's so great.
Okay.
So it's the best and worst job in the world. The upside was that everyone that worked there, except for like 2 people out of I don't know 20,
Uh-huh.
were my age or 2 years younger. So we had a really tight knit kind of community, I guess. But I also just learned a lot of things, like honestly more people skills, how to talk to people, like strangers. Obviously selling stuff too. It's not really like copy paste applicable to regular sales, since you don't go knocking on someone's door usually, unless you're selling some sort of security system to tell people that, to force people that to buy your stuff. They come to you. So that's a really large difference, but just the strategies are pretty much the same. You just have to apply them in different ways.
All right. And so you got more skills from that.
Yeah.
How could you apply those skills if you had, for example, a business, or maybe in just normal life? How did that help you overall, or did it actually help you?
I think preparing a pitch.
Okay.
That's
Like pitching an idea.
Yeah, like the elevator pitch.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's kind of easy, but it's also the hardest thing ever. To make
Sure.
a great elevator pitch that actually stands out is probably really hard. I haven't done many of like straight up elevator pitches in my life, so I wouldn't know. But I think that's important when being an entrepreneur. Is, I mean, we probably would go to a lot of conventions or something, or just places where you can meet people. And then when you see someone important, maybe you're not in an elevator, but you're working out a flight of stairs, You can throw them an idea and a card in 30 seconds.
Yeah, so if you have that down,
Yeah,
for sure. I think not only that, but like if you have a business already, right? And you want to make sure you have a goal, right? Or a business goal.
Yeah.
Of what to tell people, in short, what the business is about. And maybe knowing how to develop that.
Yeah.
Or knowing how to at least communicate that.
Yeah.
Could be important.
Yeah, because I think we actually had a small snippet of this learning how to make an elevator pitch in high school, not in the UF course, but just as a part of our just losing the word. We learned how to make an elevator pitch anyways.
Oh, okay. So part of your school course.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And I think the main thing that everyone took away from that was that it's not about telling the person why it's going to be great because of, I don't know, statistics or whatever. You got to kind of more convey a feeling. Because that's a really similar thing to marketing or telemarketing, that they don't buy the product rarely, like maybe
because of the product, you mean?
I mean, just buying the things over phone, it's weird because you don't actually know anything. There are laws telling me that I can't lie when selling stuff, but like, do you really trust someone?
It could be a scam.
Yeah,
right?
It could be a scam. Yeah. So
it's like when people, sure, this is a different example because telemarketing has been here for longer, right? But when people didn't trust buying online, right?
And it's
I don't know if you can relate to that.
Yeah, but that's like really hard for online sellers because they're not, when we call people on telemarketing and make them buy stuff, they're not buying the product, they're buying us. Because I don't go smack dab. I don't call like some 87-year-old old lady and tell her, you need to buy this product. Okay. I'm gonna tell her, like, I'm calling from.
You need to buy this product from me.
Yeah,
is that it? Is that what you mean?
You make a connection. Like you don't speak about the product for 15 minutes or like 10 minutes. You tell them, I'm calling from X company. What do you do to maintain your great health? And that question is really hard. That's a barrier you gotta get past. But once you're past that, it's just ask them about, like, do they have pets? Maybe they take them on a walk. And that's a great tangent for them to get lost on. Because they're going to start talking about their pets a bit. And you're just going to deep dive into that. Oh, what's his name? What's, like, I don't know. There's a lot of questions you can ask about pets. So you make them lose themselves in that debate. And then, like, in a nice, not too obvious way, lead them back to the product. So, I don't know. If you eat this tablet, it's going to give you more years to spend with Rudolph, your cat. And of course, and then before that, you need to build some sort of an anxiety regarding the cat. Like, you don't want to leave your cat alone, right? If you die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
obviously not.
Of course not.
But with this pill, you're gonna live longer. So you're not gonna
leave your cat to die. Oh my god!
I mean, that's an extreme example. You never say that, but the principle is
you're not gonna say that directly, but maybe you can imply it.
Yeah,
sure,
I mean, you could. It's a bit morbid, but I think that's the same. It's about selling like a state of mind or an emotion, and that's the same for the elevator pitch. They're not gonna care about statistics unless you tell them that we have a 1 billion% like profit margin, and that's just not gonna happen. You need to tell them,
maybe like it's 100% effective or something like that, right?
And then they're gonna say, "Yeah, you're full of crap," and then they'll walk away.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, it's all about emotions and just. Like being interested yourself, I think.
Okay. I wanted to actually segue from this, related still, into social skills.
Yeah.
And more specifically, it's something that I read in a book, and I discussed this book before in the podcast. And this book is called Emotional Intelligence. And one of the key things they talk about in the book because emotional intelligence is pretty much how you deal with your own emotions and other people's emotions.
Yeah.
And one of the parts of that is social skill. And I think I have a definition here, but it's pretty much like managing relationships.
Yeah.
And networking. Put simply, it's how to reach people and how to make sure you're doing it right. So to network, right? We already talked a little bit about this, but how would you say that that is important both for telemarketing, for your a career, a business career, or otherwise? And how does that differ here in Sweden from other places? A couple questions
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I think there's few things that are as important to pretty much everything we do, or like major things that happen in life. If it's just, I don't know, asking someone out on a date or meeting your boss for the first time for an interview.
Hmm.
And I think reading people is probably as important as knowing how to react to when you've gotten the information. So
You mean by reading people, like realizing what emotions they're feeling?
no, it's not. It's more like realizing what they expect and want to see from you.
Mm-hmm.
So, as an example, if you take my old boss as an example, he was pretty old,
Okay.
and like you could see that he had been pretty fit,
Uh-huh.
and like he was just had like an aura of um, he looked nice, but also he looked really masculine,
Okay.
like old man masculine. He's
Uh-huh.
been through some stuff,
Okay.
probably a fight or two. So
Okay, all right.
with that information, like the thing I did was that the first time I met him, I just gave him the grandest old handshake I could muster, and I saw instantly how he responded positively to that.
Uh-huh.
Because I think like a handshake is important, of course.
Of course. Yeah,
Um,
it's first impressions.
Yeah,
It's part of it.
and I think I don't want to be too judgmental, but I think older people judge more of the or take more away from the first impression
Okay.
by just the handshake.
Uh-huh.
Since I don't know, that's how you like got a job when Gramps was young. You walked into a store and gave him your best handshake and said, "I want a job." He got it.
All right.
So I think there's a lot more value for older generations placed on a handshake. So just knowing how to react to people by looking at them, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
Which can backfire, of course, but it's
Yeah.
generally true.
And when managing these relationships, one other thing they mentioned, one of these 5 things they mentioned in the book is also empathy. What do you
Yeah.
know about empathy?
It's good to have.
It's good to have. Yep. What is it?
I
Can you
guess,
tell me?
feeling or maybe just mirroring another person's emotions.
Uh-huh.
Not by choice, of course, but if someone, I mean, if I saw, I don't know, my mom crying,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what she's crying about, but I will be saddened.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, psychopaths, for an example, they
Yeah,
lack empathy, so
lack empathy.
they won't
Yeah.
cry unless it will benefit them.
Okay. Maybe it's easier if you contrast it with sympathy. How's it different? It
Yeah,
seems like I'm testing you, but
yeah.
it's just no. But maybe it's interesting. I want to hear your response.
Yeah, it kind of depends on like in what context, but I guess just, I mean, if you've done something to someone, it's about showing remorse. But if you're just an observer, it's about letting the person that has experienced this, letting them know that they're seen, and that you recognize their problems and that you care for them.
Uh-huh. So this is empathy.
This was sympathy.
sympathy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess they're kind of intertwined. I don't really know how to define them in English, if I'm being honest.
Look, I don't take it with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
because it's not like I have the exact definitions. But from my understanding, sympathy is pretty much feeling pity for someone.
Yeah.
So, I feel bad for that person, but
Yeah.
it's that person. It's far away, right? So if you're feeling bad, I would be like, oh, yeah, it's bad that you're feeling bad, right? Sure, but you don't relate to that person. When you're empathetic towards that person, you show empathy. You put yourself in that person's shoes, and you pretty much go through and say, hey, if I was in your position, I would also be sad.
Yeah, you kind of lived through them. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
your explanation was a lot more
No,
clear
no,
than
no,
mine.
but it's
Yeah,
I wanted
honestly,
I wanted to know, because it's not one of those things that has an exact definition, or
Sure.
that it should have an exact definition. So that's why it's interesting to hear other people's
Yeah.
definition as well. That one, oh, actually, I actually have a definition for empathy, at least
Go
according
on.
to the book.
Yeah.
Right? So here they say understanding emotional makeup of others and skills in treating people according to their emotional reactions.
Yeah.
So how to treat people based on their emotions. So you're actually interacting with them. It's not like you're pitying them. And understanding what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Which it's very close to social skills, because you need empathy for social skills.
Yeah.
So how, if you were to use these skills in managing people, for example, if you were some sort of leader, how would you use it?
I mean, the main thing that I also learned in telemarketing was just showing more empathy, I guess, and being more understanding. Also, which I kind of learned from playing video games, since, say, someone is performing poorly, or just sports in general, if you just chew them out and like hurl insults at them, they're gonna get defensive, and they're not gonna like you, obviously. Which it's obvious when we
But you
talk
have
about
to
it right
realize that.
Yeah, but you have to realize that in the moment.
Uh-huh.
So you just gotta be understanding, and I think this is more of a guy problem than with girls, but it feels like when I learned this in like past relationship, that when someone comes and has a problem, you kind of gotta judge what kind of problem it is. Because if someone says my phone is broken, help me, you're probably not gonna say, oh, you're gonna try and solve it. You're gonna try and open it up or Google it at least. But if someone says my dog died, you can't solve that. It's impossible. You can't bring the dog back, so you just have to not offer like any explanation or anything like why it happened. You just have to
move on,
feel empathy. And just listen to the person. Like, they don't come to you because they want help with what they're gonna do. They already know what they're gonna do. They're gonna cry, and they want someone whose shoulder they can cry on.
Yeah. So if something, let's say you have a business, right? Something goes terribly bad and you have to close down. It was a failure, right? How would you bounce back from that? Wait. If you had to. Yeah. I know it's a hard question, because
really hard question.
Yeah, but what would you do? Well, first of all, would you dwell on it?
Yeah. Or, I mean, not... I would like to think that I would dwell on it in a kind of critical way.
Do you mean what do you know what I mean by dwelling on it?
I think so. Or do you mean like more in a negative sense that...
Yeah, like you're just thinking about it. Like you constantly think, hey, I failed. Oh my God, I'm a failure. Or like, what can I do to... Not in a sense of what can I do to do better?
Yeah.
But more in only thinking of the mistakes you did.
Right. That's kind of a thing that I can pretty definitely say no. I mean, yes, I would for like, I don't know, some time. And if it was a catastrophic failure that made me homeless,
Yeah.
I probably would dwell in it a lot. But I think committing mistakes is important, and I hope that I still remember that if a business fails and I have to eat ramen for a while or something. So I would like to say that I would not dwell on it, and I would reflect on what I could have done or what I could have made other people do to save the business. And if that originates in a bad idea, and I honestly to myself can't find any way that I could have rescued it, I just have to let it go. But if there were some critical errors that I could have prevented, you gotta remember that. Maybe keep a notebook or something for your next venture.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? That won't work. But I definitely feel like you shouldn't dwell on it at all, right? Recognize what you did wrong.
Yeah.
Take your even if it was someone else's blame, if you're responsible for that, it was your blame.
Yeah.
In the beginning, from its inception. I guess I could put it that way. But from what I've gathered, right? Again, like what I, especially me, right? What I discuss in the podcast, it's stuff that I hear around, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I'm always correct or that I'm ever correct.
Yeah.
For sure. It's just opinionated, right?
Yeah, but I think you're right that you shouldn't, like, it's easy to say no because
definitely,
yeah, we're fine right now.
No, but I feel like with failures or like small failures, right, or things that just go wrong in your day, I feel like when you start to pay attention to that, I've started to do that. Whatever it is, I don't know. Yesterday, for example.
Yeah.
That was yesterday, yeah. I left my computer in a classroom. I forgot it in a classroom. It was full of people that I knew. It was safe. But I went to the other building, which is like a couple meters away. I don't know, 100 meters? No. I don't know how long away. But it's like the same complex.
Yeah.
But you have to go out of a building and go to another building, right? And I had a meeting with a teacher in the other meeting, and I had to run back. But instead of going to the meeting and being like, oh shit, I can't do the meeting, or damn, what am I gonna do now, whatever, I just said, hey teacher, give me a second. And I ran 2 minutes and I got back.
Yeah,
that's it. You just go for and fix it.
Yeah,
because
that's a clear example where you shouldn't dwell on it.
Yeah, I feel like the main problem of dwelling on it is not like that, like learning from mistakes, right? Not that that is a problem. I mean the main thing with it, right? But I feel like the main problem would be losing time with it.
Yeah.
Or even losing brain power on it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah.
I guess you could put it that way. So, in conclusion, don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moral of the story.
That's it. But yeah, I can for sure say that once you get to that mindset, it's all about your mindset. It's not anyone else's. It's not like you have to get motivation from somewhere else not to think about that.
Yeah.
So if anything goes wrong, you just go ahead and fix it.
Yeah, because I think what you said about you're not going to get motivation somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I live by that, and that's why I hate these YouTube videos that are like, get inspired.
Yeah,
calisthenics, 18 months transformation. I can't.
Yeah, no, like, why would I even compare myself to you, right?
Yeah, and I don't think
I'm not gonna judge you for putting it out there, which it's cool, right? But I don't get motivation from that.
Yeah, I don't think that they're doing anything wrong, and I think it's great to compare yourself to some people where you want to be, because you have some sort of goal that you want to look like them. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for 18 months of motivation, you have to, from out of nowhere, I think you have to restart and do some digging, because you're not gonna be able to watch that YouTube video like every morning and just get motivated by it. It's gonna lose its like thing in a week.
Another thing that actually the book says,
Yeah,
and it is about motivation and how it should come from inside.
yeah,
But not only that, it should come from a passion that you have, and not only material rewards or the reward itself, right? Be it money, be it whatever, fame, whatever it is. If you're focused on the destination rather than the goal, you're not gonna have enough motivation for it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is that true?
I think that's very true.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I have some friends that think, hey, money is a good enough motivation. I need money.
no,
Is it? No,
it's not.
No, because it's one of those things that like you hear all the time. You shouldn't go for just money. Okay, why? Right?
Money's fun. That's what you think. Like,
No, but even the other side, like people say you shouldn't just think of money.
yeah, right?
But then you're like, money is good.
Yeah,
Why shouldn't I just think of money?
and I think that there are very, very few people that actually take that to heart.
Mm.
I think that's a really important life lesson that you can't really learn in any other way than to experience happiness from other things than money.
Uh-huh.
Because there's like, money can't buy happiness.
No.
And there's a spin on that too. But have you ever seen a sad person on a jet ski? And no, I mean,
yeah.
or have you ever seen a sad person with a penguin or whatever? And I think it's funny, but in like it's not gonna give you long-term happiness.
I don't think you. Not only that, but in these cases, you never have really the big picture or the full picture. So, I actually subscribe to this, that you shouldn't judge someone at all, like a specific person. I'm not saying a type of person that does that. Sure, do that. But a specific person, because you're never gonna know everything that happens to that person, right? You can judge a behavior because you're assuming that the behavior is like that. Sure. But if I get you as an example, and you're on the jet ski and you're having fun, I can't say, yeah, you always have fun because you have money, right? Like it just doesn't work that way.
I think that money doesn't make you happy, but it gets you free from worry. Because if you're living to paycheck,
sure,
like feeding ramen to 4 children that are yours, not random street kids, that's gonna be rough, and you're gonna be probably really sad. But if you can like feed your kids, pay your bills, pay your bills, and I don't know, live.
Yeah,
I don't think
of course
a lot of happiness is gonna stem from more money.
Well, what I mean by like what people think of having money, really, is like more money than you actually need to survive, or not to survive, but like to live normally.
Yeah, to live.
Right.
That's a
I feel like you should at least get that, and you can get that without going to college or anything like that. You can, and for sure, you can get much more than that without going to college. It really depends.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a conversation for another day. The last question in this topic that I wanted to ask you is, do you like failing?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Why is it yes and no?
It's always yes and no, but I mean,
no, but it's
in the moment where you fail, I think there's very few people that can instantly recognize that, oh, I learned something from this. Because when you fail, I always or almost always expect to succeed, and with some with a grain of salt, not 100%, but I'm in it to win it, baby. So if I truly fail, I will be disappointed probably, but then sometime later I will reflect on it and realize that, oh, I learned this, and this, and in the end it wouldn't have mattered as much if I would have succeeded in this thing, and it's a lot more, the lessons that I got are a lot more valuable than if I would have won or succeeded.
Yeah, look, that's definitely true, but I feel like one of the main issues with not liking to fail,
Yeah.
right? Or pretty much being sad, like you said you were. It has more to do with human nature than we might think.
Yeah.
From what I've gathered, again, yeah, just to make that clear. But it might have to do with the sense that we as human beings don't want to be rejected.
Yeah.
Okay, bear with me.
Yeah.
Well, we always say we're social creatures, and we are, because without other people, we can't really survive.
Yeah.
At least not in the wilderness, whatever you want to say it, however you want to say it. But that's where the fear from rejection stems from. So when you fail,
Yeah.
many times you feel bad, not because you failed, but because you actually care too much about what other people will think when they hear you failed.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Do you think that has any merit to it?
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking of like the difference, because I try to think of some points in my life where I was disappointed from failing and where I was not,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that really like matches up with your description. Because at one point I could see like the preliminary, I don't know, grades that the schools put out, that this is what you're gonna need to get into the school. In ninth grade, I didn't get into the preliminary thing, and I was like, "Well, that's it. It's over." Because that was something that I was really focused on. And I think that's really true to what you said. That yeah, it's a different type of failure from, as another example, where a coworker or my boss tells me to get the 840 G5 computer from this section, and I go and get him the wrong computer. I mean, I have failed, but when he tells me,
sure, it's more of a mistake.
yeah,
right?
it's more of a mistake. But since I don't, or like even if I would screw something majorly that I like kind of cared about, I don't care about that job. It's not important to me or to who I am. I don't define myself by working in a warehouse, and I don't care if I fail or if I got fired. I mean, I would be disappointed, but not because I got fired. Like, because I would like to keep the job. I'd like to keep the money that I would have gotten from the job.
But at the same time, if you have the mindset that, hey, look, I am completely capable of finding another job quick, right? And that, of course, there are many variables there.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be true. But if you have that, or even the mindset that in the end everything is going to be all right, having that can change how you view that problem. So like if you pretty much get fired from a job,
yeah,
but at the end of the day you're like, whatever, I'll move on, I won't dwell on it, like we said, then you will take less time to find the other job.
Yeah.
I don't know, just going by common sense.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think there's kind of a difference also when getting fired from like this kind of job or when failing in a business that you created. Because there's like, if I get fired from this job, I don't think I'm going to reflect on it. I'm going to say tough shit and I'm going to move on. Because I don't think there's a lot of lessons to be learned, aside from like the really obvious ones, like maybe you shouldn't, I don't know, the main
you
reason
have
that I
done
got,
mistake,
yeah, exactly.
whatever it is.
But when you fail as a business, like that's, you need to, since if you don't have any other plans that you're gonna, when my business shuts down, I'm gonna start working at McDonald's, and I'm not gonna pursue this thing anymore. Then you don't have to reflect because it's meaningless. But if you want to start again and like get back up on your feet and start another venture, that's when it's important to learn from your failures, I believe.
Yeah, I can tell you now that I have had that experience with one of my major projects, I could say,
Yeah,
right? You know about the t-shirt company and whatever.
I do.
One, right?
I got one.
You got one.
Yeah.
I know. So I started it with drop shipping. I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
It's pretty much you get a product, you buy a product from a supplier, and you send it directly to the customer. So you never have stock.
Right. Yeah.
Which is, it's good for you.
Yeah.
It could be good for connecting suppliers to consumers. However, the consumers can always go directly to the supplier, especially if it's easy to get to the supplier, like AliExpress or whatever. So I knew from the beginning that the only way that could happen, or that could work, was if I had this product that was very much in hype, that I didn't have a very big margin on it.
Yeah.
Sure, and one product only. So I learned that. So I moved on the same brand to create the shirts.
Yeah.
That have to do more with marketing and stuff. But at the same time, I could consider it a failure because I didn't sell much at all.
Yeah.
Right. And from the beginning, even before the shirts, I could really feel this thing that I was telling you about. From my own experience, I could feel that when people ask me, "Hey, how's the business going?" I was like, "Yeah, it's going good." Then they're like, "Yeah, how much money have you made?" "Enough." Zero, negative, whatever. But then, in the very end, it helped me. First of all, my main objective with it was to learn from it, right?
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, I did not fail. I succeeded. I did learn from it, for sure. But it actually really helped me to realize in the end that all of these worries that I had about what other people would think shouldn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Only what I'm doing with it. Only if I fail to deliver what I set out to do for myself. And I didn't. I did everything that I could with the knowledge I had, which was limited, and now I have more. And I feel like if you are self-aware enough to realize that, that will help you go on another project.
So what's your goal in starting this business, like making money?
It was making money / learning from it.
Yeah,
or learning from it before, but yeah, of course, it's a business.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I'm just guessing that like making or like living off these shirts maybe wasn't your main priority.
No,
I'm
no,
just
it wasn't.
That your main focus was learning from it, right?
Yeah, I would say that living from it was definitely not my goal.
Yeah.
Only if I really got it going after 6 years.
Yeah.
Or something, right? But of course, I can't keep injecting money into it and keep losing money. At some point, I have to realize, hey, that's not doing well enough.
Yeah.
Let me move on. And right now, I'm working on this. This is pretty much free, right? Takes my time, and I like it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a very productive way to put out ideas, not only for people to listen, but for me and the people that I have on to maybe learn together from it.
Yeah, kind of reflect on what you're saying yourself as well.
Exactly. Just as a segue or a detour, I mean, here, I heard that the best way for you to learn, one of the better ways at least, apart from experience, is something that the school doesn't actually help you much. And it's self-reflection.
Yeah.
And that's on your own. It's only for you. The school can tell you to do it, but still, it's you that does it.
And they're kind of like the best combo, I guess, would be failure and then reflecting on it. But that doesn't really come easy in school, or it comes with some really bad side effects where if you fail, you get an F or whatever. Maybe you get a B because you want an A, but you're still gonna shoot yourself in the foot for your future. So you're not encouraged to fail at all.
No.
And you should be encouraged to fail.
Yeah. I've heard people say that they love to fail.
Yeah.
Right? And those same people are not very good in a school environment to start off with. I believe that you should do the bare minimum, like high school. You should put effort, not only to because also, if you don't put any effort and you know you'll fail, then it doesn't matter, right? Or then it won't teach you any lessons.
Yeah.
But if you actually go for it and you fail, then you might learn something from it, or if you might even learn discipline.
Yeah.
Right? How to discipline yourself. There are many ways to do that, like going to the gym, for example. That's a very good example because you do that on your own as well. You don't need a coach, and you shouldn't have a coach because then you go by yourself.
There.
Yeah, you have to set your schedule to go by yourself.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a great way to start it as well.
Yeah, I guess becoming like a Buddhist or something, becoming a monk or something would be a viable way. But I think what you're saying is true. People who I don't think you should get like a personal trainer to.
Sure, to help
like,
you, like
maybe to
define
get the habit,
to the habit, but not a coach
define goals and get into the habit, but not, not make you go to the gym.
Yeah, first of all, it's way too expensive here.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely, I don't believe in it.
Yeah, and that's I agree. It's reasonable.
To finish off with social skills as well, I wanted you to mention some examples that you told me you would. Right. About Swedish culture and how that's different from maybe other places. Just as like social interactions in general.
Yeah.
What are the norms here and what's different? Because being a foreigner, it's I mean, I can see it.
Yeah.
Right, but I can't really say, hey, they do that for sure.
Yeah. And that's what I've. I mean, it's hard to realize when I've only lived in Sweden, but I mostly notice it when just being on, I don't know, vacation or trips with school or something, that like Swedes are weird. Yeah? Like we're really awkward.
So? How so?
Extremely awkward. Just the whole, like the most daily thing, standing at least 1.5 meters apart at the bus stop, and God. Definitely not talking to anyone, not making eye contact. That's death. Like you'll if you're in like the subway in Stockholm or something, you're gonna look at everyone's like crotches if you're sitting like next to each other, because you just can't look anywhere else because people are standing up. Yeah, it's in the ceiling or like the floor or something. But just being really polite or just being
polite, sure, but it's because it's a different definition.
Yeah,
of being polite,
I wouldn't
right?
say being polite just to be nice. It's be polite to not inconvenience others, because that's like the worst thing you could do.
Inconvenience people,
like or not just in like time or anything, but like making them anxious or uncomfortable. Like Americans, I don't know if you've been on an American bus, but they're loud and people are talking, and they're not talking by Swedish standards. They're screaming, they're yelling.
I know, because sometimes like from time to time I hear Americans like. You can always hear them, like
you'll know.
I can tell you that it's the same thing with Brazilian people.
Yeah,
the same exact thing. And of course, there are many different people, but there are people that speak very loudly.
Yeah,
and I personally don't like that. But at the same time, I feel like it could be part of your identity as well. So as long as you don't shout in the bus,
hopefully it'll be like a reflection of your identity. If you're like really outburst going, you'll be loud because you're you like to be seen. You're not loud just because you
want to attract attention.
Because you want to attract attention. Okay. Exactly. But I think that just we're like being loud. Everyone just looks at each other with this like common. You know when you look at someone and you both just communicate like with a stare at each other, like what is this guy doing? If he's talking on the phone loudly, because people will almost whisper. It took me like to the second year of high school where I could comfortably speak in my phone at a regular level, still not inconveniencing anyone at the bus, of course, but just so that the other person could hear me.
Oh my god!
Because I was deathly afraid of speaking too loud.
So answer me this: what is the problem with seeking attention in general, in your opinion? I just want to know.
I don't think there's any problem with seeking attention per se.
Okay.
And it's a really weird thing because everyone needs attention and everyone knows that everyone wants attention to some extent, but it's not okay to show everyone else that you need attention.
Why?
I do not know. I'm just guessing that there's probably some like evolutionary thing,
Sure.
as usual.
Yeah, we are a product of it. So
Yeah, but that's a really hard question. I don't think I can answer that honestly. It's some sort of like,
I can't either, but it's a nice discussion.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna think about it too hard. I don't know.
No, but maybe look, like I said, I'm not going to be able to answer it either.
Yeah.
But I feel like it may tap into that same thing that we talk about. Oh, I talked about on being rejected, and when you do seek attention from other people, when, for example, you're too needy,
Yeah.
that might be a turn-off point for some people.
Yeah.
Or many people. No, not only that, but maybe because you are just different, or you feel like you're entitled to more, whatever,
Yeah.
or that's what other people see from
That's
you,
probably a large part of it.
right? Then you may be rejected, and that's why people may be afraid of standing out.
Yeah.
So maybe that could explain two things: both seeking attention and being afraid of standing out. So maybe it has to do with the same thing that we talked about before.
Yeah, I think that just because there's like, you don't want to be like exactly like everyone else.
No.
You want to be inside, like kind of inside the box,
Mm-hmm.
but you also like there's some you want to find some middle ground. You want to be kind of unique,
Okay.
but you don't want to be weird
Why?
because it's not socially acceptable to be weird. Because
Okay.
then you won't get the type of attention that you want.
Okay. So why would you care if people thought that you were weird?
Because it's in human nature, I think.
Okay. And would you say, you personally, nothing to human nature or anything, would you like to be in that middle ground? Or would you prefer to be more on the, maybe some people would see you as weird, but you know yourself that you are doing the right thing for you, and in the end, you are actually, how can I phrase this? You don't care about what they actually think, right? Because caring about what people think would just hinder your progress.
I think I'm kind of in the middle of both.
Okay.
And I'm
in the middle of the middle and the extreme. Okay.
Or maybe not like the extreme, but some...
Not the extreme. Well,
yeah,
whatever.
well,
The
somewhere
other side.
out there. Because I was really anxious when I was little, and I really hated thinking about what people thought of me.
Can't tell.
Sorry?
I can't tell.
But then when I started, there's actually like, I saw a YouTube video which I think kind of defined who I now am, like a 10-minute like how to, I don't know what it was called, but something like how to look like you're confident or something. Just like it wasn't anything that I specifically looked for. It was just something that I saw, like with a handshake again, of course. First time you're meeting someone, just go up, shake their hand. It displays confidence, like lay back and don't fiddle too much, which I have a problem. I fiddle too much, but I try to refrain from it. And I did that the first time I met my friend Fabian in high school. And he actually told me like half a year ago that his first impression of me was that I kind of, I looked confident, which I most definitely was not. I was shaking. I was so scared. My palms were just waterfalls.
Really?
I was so scared. But with time and kind of just trying to be confident, I kind of like found it somewhere along the way.
Mhm.
And people always say like, oh, I don't care about what people think of you. That also has to come from the inside. Someone just can't tell you just don't care.
No, yeah,
Because it
like I
doesn't work.
can't stand here and say and tell you all of this,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna accept it,
Yeah.
conform to it. You have to find that.
Yeah, that's true. Like it's just not gonna happen.
Mhm.
But I think that when you kind of find that nice balance, that you're not completely normal, that you're not weird, but you kind of stand out. People kind of remember you, I guess. But you're not weird, so that people won't want to hang out with you. I think you found the best middle ground for people remember you from like I don't know a party or something, but they won't remember you for a bad reason, so you won't get invited to the next one or something like that.
Sure. I feel like the most effective way to do that is not really caring about the next
Yeah.
party,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I don't know if you really agree, but it's, I guess well, from my point of view, that's more like it. But I also have a similar story
yeah.
because
Can I just interject? I think
course.
that's really true. Now that I think because I never really thought about, okay, we need to network with this person so that we can get invited to more parties. But I imagine that if we did, me and my friends, it would be weird because it's not natural. And I think people sense that when you're looking to gain something from them, they
Yeah.
will know.
Yeah, I feel like you shouldn't be afraid of, well, you shouldn't be afraid of doing stuff for your own gain. However, you should really know how to deal with people's emotions, as you should be aware that other people don't respond well when you show that you don't care about other people.
Yeah.
Right? So the best way to do it is to help other people, because you know that by helping other people you will help yourself eventually.
Yeah.
In the long run. And that's just the truth. And it doesn't matter if it's from selfish intent, because in the end everyone's going to be happy.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I have a similar story to you, actually, because I didn't see any videos or anything like that. But there was a point when I switched schools back in Brazil. Like I was 4 years in one school and then 4 years in another. Then when I was I was gonna switch back to the school I was in before. I did, and I made a promise to myself. I don't want to be that shy kid anymore.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it could have been from like even like social norms or anything like that. That like, yeah, if you're shy, you're gonna get less. But I knew that I could change it.
Yeah.
Right, and that maybe deep within me I wasn't shy at all, but I ended up being that way just because maybe I was awkward or whatever it was. But I just decided to change that, and I guess it's not that I knew how, but I knew how to start.
Yeah.
And I did. And then when I got back to the school, everyone said, "Yeah, that school that you went to changed you." And I was like, "No, it didn't. I was even worse there.
Yeah.
Even worse. When I got back, I was better, and I only stayed half a year there, and then I came here."
I think that's like the exact same thing that happened to me,
Uh-huh.
except that it was the transition from 9th grade to first grade in high school.
Uh-huh.
Or
Yeah,
10th grade
I
or
did
whatever.
10th grade, yeah.
Yeah. That's like, because I had this same experience that I felt like I wasn't shy. I shouldn't be shy, and I wasn't really shy at the end of my 9th year. But that I was kind of defined as not shy, but not super confident, somewhere in the middle where you're not like, it's kind of just a meh thing. Like
Maybe you're a little bit awkward, maybe you're middle ground,
yeah,
but you're not too special, or people might not remember you too much.
Exactly.
Is that it?
Yeah, probably.
I can relate.
Yeah, and I feel like I relate a lot to your story.
Uh-huh.
Because when I went like in 6th grade, I felt completely confident. I did not care like at all what people thought of me. I have do you know what it's called, a commit like a full body pajamas thing. I had one
Oh,
where
you mean like not an overall,
kind of
jumpsuit?
Sorry?
A jumpsuit?
Yeah, kind of with a hood.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And it had like it made you look like a koala, and I thought that's baller. So I
You just didn't care what other people.
Yeah,
would
I
think.
wore that to school because like fuck it, dude.
Do you know Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
I did it twice. I went to my school dressed up as Indiana Jones twice, and the worst part is that we had uniforms. And back in Brazil, uniforms aren't like ties and stuff like that. It's just like it's a normal T-shirt with the branding of the school, and then a pants with the branding of the school, and like a hoodie. And I went with that over the Indiana Jones thing. And then when I went back to the school, because it was the first school that I went to, right? When I went back to it, everyone was like, "Yeah, weren't you that Indiana Jones kid?"
Yeah,
yeah, I was.
Because I think there's like I don't know if you did that out of because I did my like koala thing because I didn't realize that it was weird.
Okay.
Did you do it? And then later,
I don't.
Did you do it because like out of just straight like confidence, or because you did not know it was weird? Because I think there's a huge difference.
I think it's always a combination of confidence, but more so incompetence. Like not knowing it. Yeah, just not knowing you. It was weird. I guess like I had some self-awareness.
Yeah.
Right. But I was like, fuck yeah. I don't know. I just liked it so much.
Yeah.
I remember that at that time I thought, yeah, Indiana Jones, he's older, so he doesn't watch cartoons. So I stopped watching cartoons for like months. I did. As a kid. I was like 7.
Hey man.
Like why not?
Yeah, because I think that because like if I were to I could wear that, or rather I could have wore that costume to my high school. But not because like I didn't know that it was weird. It's because it would be funny because how it would look. Because I would wear it with complete confidence that I looked like a total jackass.
Because then you're self-aware.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch a movie. It's when it's like a horror movie that's trying to be a horror movie but it's failing.
Yeah.
Right.
Horrible.
Or you watch a horror movie that's about the same. Right. It's not scary, and it's very funny, but it wants to be funny.
Yeah.
Then it's self-aware. It's the same thing with people.
Yeah.
If you're self-aware of what you're doing, then you can.
And people will tell.
You just go for it, right? So that's it.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation. I think it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've brought up a lot of very valid points and true things. I think we're just we agree on a lot. I feel like we're not like having an argument. We're just like
no, we're discussing it, and it's great.
Yeah.
Which it's different because I also like having arguments.
Yeah.
I also like disagreeing with people because
it's fun.
Other perspectives. No, I had 2 people here, and they had we were talking about economics.
Yeah.
They had completely different ideologies. Not completely different. It wasn't socialism versus capitalism, but it was more like I don't know. Do you know a little bit of economics?
Yeah.
Keynesian versus neoclassical.
No.
That's
a bit too much.
No, it's like whatever. But they were opposite. But it was great to just have them talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't an argument per se. It was a debate.
Yeah, as long as it's like some sort of civility in it, it's fun.
Great, dude. It was great talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And that'll be all for today. But I'd be glad to have you back in again. Maybe we have some discussions with the other guys.
Yeah, I would be glad to come.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. And see you next time.